Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Got the 2003 Chevrolet, it's the Express. Customer complaint is it has no low beams. I'm going to turn on the headlight switch. When I pulled it in, it looked like the backlighting on the dash worked. The high beams appeared to work both sides, and it looked like the marker lights, but we'll just verify it. So that is with the headlight switch on. That's the high beam, and the other side is also working. And that's the low beam. See, let me just flick the key on here. So we have a turn signal there. Marker lights appear to work. The backlighting on the dash works. Interesting. Maybe not interesting to everyone. So what would your next step be? Now, I don't know what's going on with this. You know as much as I know now, so we've gathered a few clues. My next step personally would be if the headlights are easy to get to, as far as the connector on it, that's going to be the first place I go. Before I even get a wire diagram or anything, I would assume that the customer had already checked the headlights. You know, maybe I need a new bulb, but that's a big assumption. Don't assume, just stick with your plan. That's what we're going to do. We'll pop them. Now, if they are a piss pot to get to, now we're going to look at a wire diagram and devise a plan. I have no idea if they're easy to get to or hard to get to, or if we got to tear a bunch of stuff apart. But we will find out. Looks like that connector is right in the wide open on that side, and right in the wide open on this side. So easy peasy. So let's do that. This side over here is a little more open. Let's unplug it and see if we have power going to the headlight. Maybe nobody did check these bulbs. The connector does not look like it's been fiddled with. Wouldn't that be something if it was just a... What the frig? If it was just a bad headlight. Wouldn't surprise me. What's up, Mrs. O?
Not much.
So this guy here said he's got no low beams.
It says.
But must be never even checked the bulbs.
Are the bulbs blown?
I don't know. I can't get the connector off because it's pretty corroded on here. You know what?
Are they both the same?
Yeah, both headlights. Both connectors are the same.
I know. Is the other one in the same condition?
Well, the other one's harder, a little bit harder to get to.
Oh.
Well, I tell you what, I got it peeled back far enough that I can get to the posts on it now. Initially, I just took my test light and I had it hooked to battery positive. But now, because I thought I was going to get in there, we were going to find out which one was the ground and which one is the power. But now we need to change plans because that thing is so corroded. If I get it unhooked, regardless if the bulb is good or not, it's going to break. So let's hook it to a ground. Let's make sure our test light works. And it does. So it's peeled back far enough I can reach down and I can touch the individual terminals now on the headlight, which this video is probably going to end up going in the trash, but anyhow. Let's see. So I got the high beams on currently. So one of these posts down here should have power on it, obviously, because the headlights work. Hey, it's that guy. That one is hot. That one is not. And clearly this one down here should not be hot. So out of the three posts, we have one that has power. All right, now if we go switch this to low beam, one of the other posts, so that's on low beam. Now one of these other posts should have power. Not this one. That one does not. That one does not. I'm just trying to scrape through the crud. Maybe we're on to something here. Maybe it is something more than just a bulb. And that one does not have power. Okay, so we appear to be missing power. I'm just trying to get through the crud here, folks, just to make sure we're not misdiagnosing this. I am confident that I'm through the crud and we're in good shape that we can make the assessment that we have no power going to our headlights. Now people are like, what about the ground, Mr. O? Well, 3 wires. We have a high beam wire, a low beam wire, and then a ground. If the ground was bad, we would have no high beam, so therefore we don't even need to check it, if that makes sense. These are super convenient to work on. Said no mechanic ever. We need to get to the fuse box, which is conveniently located right here, right below the brake master center. I'll move the camera so you guys can see a little better here. Uno momento. Gotta try to get that cover up and out. Well, this makes you feel silly. Vans are the most awesome thing to work on. Okay, there. Woo! The cover is out and stuff is green and pussy. What we're looking for is the low beam fuse. There we go. Fuse number 43, left hand low beam 10 amp number 43, which is in the top rows of 3. First top row of 3. Let me get this down here. Maybe I don't need to move the camera because perhaps you're in the perfect position. Ever been in the perfect position? Me neither. Let's see. Let's make sure our test light works. It does. Number 43, which is this one right here. We have no power on either side of it. Our test light works. Our headlight should be on, technically. So, here's what we need to do. There's our left-hand low beam. Let's just try for grins and giggles. Left-hand high beam is number 44, which is this fuse up here. Which if we turn on the high beam, that fuse should be hot. I just want to give you guys proof of concept. Proof of concept here. Is that fuse hot? That fuse is now hot, okay? Or has power. The low beam one. Don't, because the low beam's not on. Let's turn our low beams back on. I know it sounds silly, but we're gathering some evidence. Okay, so we know our fuse is dead. Technically, if I was a gambling man, I bet we could go like this. I bet we could take a jumper wire, which I just grabbed off my box, hook it on this nasty, crusty wire here. I don't know if it would be a good enough connection. Let's see. Let's test this with our test light. Okay, so this wire is hot. So if we leave this hooked to our test light, if I probe that fuse, my headlight should light up. And that'll answer another question for us before we ask another question. There we go. The low beam is on the left side. Now it's off. Now it's on. Okay. We're armed with knowledge, or knowledge, as they say in the West. What do we know? We know our low beam doesn't work. We know that this fuse has no power. We know that when we apply power, the light lights up. So now we need to get a wiring diagram and find out where in the world is the rest of the circuit. What do we have? We have a relay. What makes this fuse turn on? That's what I want to know. And we know it ain't talking dirty to it, otherwise it'd already be on. Appears that Mrs. O's printer is running out of ink. The lines are kind of sketchy looking here. Anyhow, where were we? We need the pointing. This will be a good pointing apparatus. We have checked this fuse right here, left hand low beam, no power. We can only assume that the right hand low beam is the same. We know when we applied power to that one, that this lighted. The light lit. So that proves everything from that fuse out is good. We need to know why this fuse doesn't have power. Well, if we follow that back, we see we have a headlamp low beam relay, which is powered from this fusible link. And there's also something else that we can learn simply by that right there. And that is the fact that the high beams worked. So the high beams worked, which are also fed power from fusible link B. So that tells me that fusible link B is good. We don't have to check it. We know that the power coming up to the fuse box is good. We don't have to check it. We therefore just have to go to our relay. I assume it lives in this crusty box. The crusty box, not a name for a bar. Micro relay, here we go. Headlamp, low beam, number 58, in the bottom left-hand corner. So 61, 58, second one in. We need to get that little guy out and check that. Now, if we pull it out and it's not green and pussy, we need to do the old swapperoo. And if it's the same part number, and it is, there's the one next to it, which happens to be 59, which is the horn. Does the horn work? Because we don't want to swap a bad relay. Okay, let's give it a go. It can't be that mother loving easy, can it? It might be. Come on, I got these special relay pulling pliers. Hoping that they can hook underneath it. Relays are a son of a gun to get out. Sometimes, nope, these things don't work worth a crap. Go like this. Throw them right in the trash, because they don't work. I've tried them a couple dozen times. They never work. We always go back to this. There, that relay is out. Does it look crusty? This is the suspected offender. And it does. It looks green. It looks pussy. And I'm curious. Let's see. Let me make sure the headlights are still on here, folks. The headlights are back on. We're going to stick this back in there and see if we hear it click or feel it or anything. Sometimes it's all about the feeling. Let's just see. I don't hear it click. I don't see the headlights. However, I don't know if that's a solid state relay either. You may or may not hear it click. Looks kind of big. I assume it's still mechanical. Now let's pull out the horn relay because we know it works. Yeah, baby. That one looks equally as crusty as the one we just took out, so let's see if it works. Still no headlights, son of a mother. It ain't gonna be that easy. Now let's put the original headlight relay, low beam, back into the horn hole. See if it works, because that'll tell us it's a relay tester built in. That works just fine. Relay tester says it's good. So now what are the options, folks? What are the options? Well, we look at our diagram. What turns this relay on? That's a good question that you ask. What turns this relay on? The body control module turns it on through the low beam relay control wire. So what we need to know now is a couple things. Let's grab a test light. We need to know, is this relay receiving power? Which power, you ask? Well, the power from that fusible link. Remember that fed the power to the high beam relay and the low beam relay. We know that. We know the fusible link is good. Unless somebody's done some aftermarket wiring funny business, which we don't see right offhand, but so we're going to look at that. So one of these pegs down here should have a full-time power on it. There's one. That peg got it first try. There's two. We got two of them with power. Let me look at my diagram. The control side and load side both have power, yes. So we should have two of them that have power. One and two. So we have two pins down here that have power. Looking at the diagram, it is numbers. What numbers is it? 30 and 85. It should be right. 30 and 85. So number 30 and number 85 both have power, and that is correct. One control side, one low side. Looking at the bottom here, we have number 30 right there and number 85 right there. It plugs in like that. So both of them have power. So that's good. That's good, Mr. O. It's starting to look like a BCM issue here perhaps, or the wire coming out of the relay to the headlights broken. What we need to do now is we need to turn this relay on. We need to get a little relay jumper. Let me get my box here. Where are you, little relay jumpers? Got a couple boxes of those. Open up the box and find the appropriate one. This one seems to be appropriate. Is that appropriate? Son of a mother, I'm dropping everything. Ah. We will take the relay jumper, stick our relay in it. This is going to give us access to our terminals. I should have looked to see which one is which, but it doesn't matter because one of these will ground and it will turn the relay on. Ha, first try, look at that. And the headlights work, as you can clearly see. So that is the control side. 2 of these should be hot. I'm sorry, 3 of them will be hot. Why is that? Because it is a, how many pin relay was that? Why do we have 3 hot ones? 1, 2. Sidetrack. Because we have an 87A terminal. That's why. Because we have 5 pins instead of 4. That's why we have 3 hot wires. Makes sense. This is the control. And that is pin number 86. We've already determined that we have power on 85. 86, we ground it, controls it. The power goes from 87A to 87. Blammo. Closes. There we go. We have determined what is the actual problem here. The problem is we have no control to the relay. Headlights work fine, right and left. At this point, we can take this out. We can plug this little guy in. We know the relay is good. We know the headlight's good. We know the fuse is good. We know everything from the fuse box out to the headlights is good. I can see the pin in the fuse box and it's as good as the rest of them. Okay. So that's what we know. That's what we know. And we know we are missing the control side to turn this relay on from the body control module. So we either have a broken wire or a wire problem, whether it's open, it could be open, it could be broken. It cannot be shorted to ground or our headlights would be on all the time. We could have high resistance, corrosion. So open or corrosion, open or high resistance is one of the problems we could have. Or we could have a bad body control module. So what we need to do now, looking at the diagram, is we need to find out a couple things. So here's our relay. Here's the wire we're working on. So we've narrowed this down in just a few tests to a single wire, this pink with a white stripe, which comes from the body control module. Assuming the body control module is getting the signal from the high beam switch saying, hey, turn on your low beams, you jerk. And then it says, all right, and then it grounds this wire right here, this pink with white, which turns on the relay, which boom, turns on your headlights. So what do we need to know next? We ain't going wire chasing, I'll tell you that, because I want to know what this guy knows. And if we got to beat it out of him, we will. We got to say, body control module, do you see the dimmer switch signal? Are you seeing the high, the low, the flash to pass? What do you see? What do you know? Who you been talking with? We're going to go to BCM, body control module, because that's what we determined that we need to go into. Well, I guess let's see if we have codes. Headlamp control circuit. Huh, that's a good one to have. Let's see, current. That is the only current code, technically, if we erase these. But I don't know, is that because we were fiddling with stuff? Could be. Okay, so let's go in here. Headlights are still on currently. We'll flick them a couple times. That's high beam, low beam. Oh, okay, we got no high beam over here. Probably because we were pissing around with that connector, would be my guess. That was working. Hey, there we go. So, yeah, which doesn't surprise me. This thing's probably gonna end up needing bulbs before we're done. They're super crusty. So that's low beam, high beam, low beam. That's a spider right there. High, low. We'll turn them on and off. We'll reread codes because we could have very well set that code from kicking the control circuit on and off. Nope, still has that code, the 2575. So let's go to live data. Let's see, inputs maybe. Let's just go to data. I'll see if I can find the input from the dimmer. That is for the dash dimmer there. That means nothing to us. We will go back here. We'll go to inputs and see what it sees. We have headlamp switch. We have high beam switch. Perhaps that's all it knows is whether or not it's high beam. Enhance, enhance. Let's see, where is that switch? Dimmer switch signal. Flash to pass. NBC, I don't know the acronyms right offhand. FTP means flash to pass, that's the high beam. But it shows, this is why Mitchell diagrams suck, because the switch goes to nothing. The three little dots are hooked to nothing. So that doesn't make sense to me. Flash to pass signal. That's a ground. I don't know. We might have to look at OEM, or we might have to actually have to look into service data. Cargo. I don't see anything that says low beam. Obviously the parking lamp and all that. So these seem to be the only ones that are there, because if we turn on the high beam, I'm assuming that will stay active. High beam switch off. Perhaps I have to hold it back. There we go. So if I hold it back, it says on. If I let go of it, it says off. Okay, so that's good to know. Turn off the headlights. They all say inactive. Parking lights on. Headlights on. High beams active. Good to know. Service data. B, like Bravo, 2575. Definition, low beam headlamp relay control circuit. That's using your noodle. Why the Altel interpreted it like that, I don't know. But now it makes more sense. Let's look at conditions for setting code. Let's skip everything else. When the low beam, when the low beam headlamp relay control circuit is open or shorted to ground. So just like we said, it's not seeing the 12 volts on that control wire. When the BCM receives a low beam headlamp on command and the low beam headlamp relay control circuit is shorted to voltage, it can set that too. So it must be, it can detect an overcurrent. When the low beam relay coil side is open, or the battery positive voltage on the low beam relay is open. So this is pretty easy. Well, it's exactly what we thought it was. The low beam headlamps will not operate or will always remain on. That's what happens when this code sets. Let's see, we can go to the test below. Wow, that's a lot of testing. We don't want to do all that testing because we don't have a home meter. Plus that's stupid. Let's come up with our own test. Let's see, circuit description. When the body control module senses a request for the low beam headlamp illumination, the body control module sends a ground signal to the low beam headlamp relay through the control circuit. The headlamp low beam relay will apply voltage and illuminate the headlights. We already know that because we've already learned all of that. And now we know what we know. We know that the body control module is receiving the signal from the dimmer switch. Otherwise, it wouldn't generate this code. And then we know that it's not seeing its 12 volts. So now we're in the same boat we were in. We still could have a bad body module, or we could have an open wire, or We could have corrosion. Those are options. It cannot be shorted to ground, and it cannot be shorted to power. Can it be shorted to another circuit? Unlikely. No, I would have to say no. But that's where we're at, folks. Looking under the hood of this thing, I'm betting the green crusties are somewheres, or the wire's broke, or the module's bad. What do I know? I popped the body control module out of it. I got us a back probe. I ran our test light in here. I have it hooked to battery plus. You can see our test light works. Now, remember this is a ground side control. We just want to make darn sure, darn tootin' our control module here is good. Pink with white connector C2, number A4. That's what we want to find. So C2 should be this one or this one. Which one has pink wires? They both have pink wires. Which one has a pink wire in position A4 though? Picked up a few extra things, sticking this in the glove box. C2A4. This one has a pink. Well, son of a hooski. What are the odds of that, folks? Both of them have a pink wire. It's supposed to be pink with a white stripe. Both of them have a pink wire in A4. That's awesome. Is it pink with a white stripe, though? I guess is going to be the next thing. Usually this isn't a dilemma here. This one appears to be solid pink. Is this one over here pink with a white stripe? Ain't that some stuff? Usually it's not even close, but in this case it is. That one is pink with a white stripe. Okay. Well, good thing we double checked and we didn't just go poking in the wrong hole. That can get you in trouble and send you down the wrong path. Not in life, just in your diagnostics. Let me move my camera. I'm going to give you optimal viewing angle, even if I can't see. Pink with white stripe. We're back probing it. Let me turn the headlights on. Stay right there, folks. Might get a little wiggly. Headlights are on. High beams are off. Low beams are on. In theory, all is right in the world. Our test light should be lit when we touch that T-pin. Oh, boom, boom, boom! It is. Just a minute. Let me get the lovely Mrs. O. She can help us. What's up, Mrs. O? We need your assistance.
Everybody needs my assistance.
Welcome to my world.